All right, what is this? Second night of me being away. I just went up with my good friend Kelly Dan, stellar human being, and he kindly had me over to his home. We had a fire in the backyard and set up the camera and let her rip. So there you go. The rest will be pretty self-explanatory. Then tomorrow morning, 4 o'clock, I'll be on my way up north to go for the 2-day moose challenge. Anyways, enjoy. Kelly's a great guy. It's Kelly Dan, the man.
Hey.
Hey, where are we?
We're in Mount Currie, BC, otherwise known as Lilwat-Ool.
Say that again?
Lilwat-Ool.
How do you pronounce that road down there?
Which one?
X-I-T-C-L.
X-I-T. Oh, that's the Heclola.
How?
Heclola.
No shit.
So that's the name of the school over here.
Yeah.
So there's a school over here, and that's the name of it.
Did you grow up here?
I grew up here.
How old are you now?
30.
Okay, hold on a minute. So when you were about 15 years old, I got the very first time I ever come up here. I drove through going home from guiding one time. I drove through years ago.
Yeah.
And the next time I came here, some guy got a hold of me to ask me if I'd come and run a new roofing job over here. And I'm like, I go, where? He goes, in Mount Currie. I don't know where that is. And I go, I don't really want to do it. I was in between guide boats. And I went to Squamish to look at this boat.
Yeah.
And then the boat sucked. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Something stopped me from guiding or something. I'm gonna give that guy in Squamish a call about that roof job, right? And he goes, yeah, please. Offered me a pile of money because I got 2 journeyman tickets.
Yeah.
I followed him, and it was your school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you remember those getting built?
I only went to kindergarten here, and then from grade 1 till 12, I went to Pemberton School.
Well, do you remember the gym getting built?
No, not really. To be honest, like the new site here, like I grew up on the Lake Road.
Oh, okay.
So
all right, there you go.
So you know the Birkenhead River.
Yeah.
So the bridge that you cross to come up to this community, I live probably about 1.5 kilometers just past that. Like that's where my old
no shit.
That's where my old man's property is.
Right in the heart of it too, eh?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. I was excited when you said I live at the new site, and I'm like, yeah, finally get to go up and hang out.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever came here, was right there.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then I come in between guide seasons, and I come here and blast off a job in Whistler and take off again, and then finally ended up living up the meadows. That was like 20 frickin' years ago. How the hell did that happen? Anyway, oh yeah, check out this buck. I gotta show everybody the buck. Did you get a selfie with this sucker too for the blacktail page?
Yeah, for sure.
Hammer monster blacktail, and there's a shit pile of blacktail hunters on here. Look at that sucker. We won't say where it was from. Well, you're gonna say, where'd you get him? Right in the shoulder. Right? That thing's awesome. Look at that thing.
November 2020.
How far into November was it?
Early November.
Really?
Yeah, early November.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Usually it's later.
Yeah.
That's a Boone and Crockett buck. Did you get it measured?
No, I didn't. I was supposed to, but didn't get around to it. Well, I would like to get it measured.
Well, that's
sure.
a buck, I'll guarantee it. Yeah. Okay, so give me the goop. What do you got? What do you got for, did you see Sasquatch?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen one with my own eyes, but I've heard stories. There's a lot of elders. So actually, before I go on to that, so the shadow that I showed you a picture of over here. So actually, the elders here in this community say not to go up that mountain because there's bad things going on up there.
Oh, bad?
Yeah. So like. And then all that kind of clued in for me when the couple kind of went missing up there 10 years ago now. It's about their 10 years.
Holy shit, is that long now?
It's been 10 years now since that couple went missing. So they just vanished.
I know.
And so the Sabe topic, I'm really into it. But when your page, or when you started your YouTube page, I really got into it, and I never miss an episode.
It's tough not to, eh?
Yeah.
Well, when you know it's not bullshit.
Exactly, and it's just like some of the stories you can like kind of relate to them. Like some of your stories that you told about the fellow that lives in Owl Ridge, that property.
Yeah.
And I've had a few actually, Patty had one weird experience or encounter there.
Where at?
Just by the old dump, just on this road, when she was riding the quad by herself.
That's a creepy road, man.
She said, she said just out of nowhere, everything went silent, and she said that she said she had to turn around and go home right away.
Weird, eh?
Something turned her around and scared her away. And then just maybe a month before that, Patty's nephew was up visiting from the lower mainland, and I took him out for a quad ride. Same spot where she had her experience. Rylan is his name. He was wearing a helmet, was riding the quad with me, and he had a rock thrown at him, like it hit him.
Oh, he hit him too?
It right in the head with the helmet.
What a dick.
It like very precise. And then I kept riding because from the corner of my eye, I seen that rock come out of the bush and hit him.
How big was it?
It was just a little pebble like that, and so I kept riding because I was like, fuck. And then stopped, and I looked at him. I'm like, did you just get a rock thrown at you? And he's like, yeah, it came from the bushes, and he pointed over there. And yeah,
how far past the dump? Just past?
Just past the dump. So Mud Lake, right where all those cabins are.
Yeah, that's creepy there.
Yeah, that area is that's where Patty got turned around. And
yeah, like what's the scoop with the people that either used to live? Does anybody even live there now?
There's a couple that lives in one of the cabins full time, I believe.
Native or?
Native, yes.
Really?
Yep.
How long have they been there?
A long time now.
You know they got stories.
Oh, for sure.
You don't even have to wonder about it.
Yeah. Everyone's got stories.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like some of those empty cabins, you wonder why they left.
Yeah.
Right? I know, I went there a few times years ago, but one time I went, it was springtime. And I'd go to that dump. There's the old dump right here. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I drive all the way through and I'd come out over it.
Yeah.
I sit there, look at the bears and shit before they got rid of it. Mm-hmm. Like it was still a landfill when I was there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the big open pit that was there. Yeah, yeah.
Bears frickin' everywhere.
Everywhere there, yeah.
So I'm sitting looking at the bears, and then a guy that works for the band with the band work truck, I forget his frickin' name, and he gave me his number back then too, because he was deer hunting up by Joffrey.
Yeah.
He literally said he was taking a dump, and this thing stood up like here to the concrete in front of him.
Yeah.
Looking at him, walked away, reddish brown one, and then he saw one up by, I think somewhere up past the Hurley. Maybe 20-something K past the Hurley, but going towards Meager.
Yeah.
Saw another one, and he said flat, he goes, yeah, I don't go anywhere near Joffrey.
Mm-hmm.
I go, really? He goes, no, I don't go near there anymore. And anyways, but when I'm talking to him, he goes, oh, I thought maybe somebody's broken down. So I'm like, no. I go, don't laugh at me, but it's kind of maybe looking for Sasquatch prints around here or something. And he just goes, oh, no, they're down at the river right now.
Yeah.
Springtime, right? Spring salmon going there? I go, he just talked about it like it was deer or whatever, right?
Yeah.
He goes, no, they're down at the river. They're not up here, they're down there.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Just like that? Right? And then he goes, yeah, you can see, they don't care what they eat. You can see where two adults and a young one the other day, you can see their footprints going along the river. And the young one stayed on the river bank, and you see where the other prints went out of the river.
Yeah. And
they're grabbing, you know when the salmon are all mungy, mushy, disgusting?
Yeah.
He said you could tell where they picked those up off of the riverside.
Down at the lake over here?
At the river.
Oh, okay.
And they're eating that rancid dog shit. They don't give a shit what they eat.
Yeah. So, another quick little story here. The neighbors here, actually.
Oh, right here?
Yeah, it's just right next door. They watch your.
I think everybody does. That sounds of it.
I actually showed them the first couple episodes, I believe, and they got right into it. But they were showing me pictures because they just reminded me when you're talking about the prints along the riverbank and everything. Showed me it was in the winter time, I believe, just going into spring maybe, when everything was melting. But just at the Lowit Lake where the Birkenhead flows into the lake, just around there, there's prints, and he showed me pictures of the big print in the snow, like muddy snow, and he was following it for a bit.
And it must have sunk in deep there, eh?
And then it disappeared.
Ooh.
So
there you go.
He said, he's like, yeah, we followed the tracks for a bit, through the bush a bit, and then the tracks just stopped.
Isn't that bizarre?
So
is what it is.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore it.
Exactly.
You know how many people don't want to even talk about that shit happening?
Yeah.
Weird, eh?
So
yeah, no.
I emailed you one well, a couple stories about another friend of mine. This was his encounter, and it was actually just by the dump, same spot every time. That's where he was hiking, and he was ahead of the group. And then he said he tripped and he fell, and then he like kind of got disoriented, and then he came to, and he was.
Oh yeah, you told me this one.
He was behind the group, and so originally he was in front of the group, hiking down off the mountain back here, and then he said he got disoriented, and then he came to, and he was behind the group. So he said he felt like he couldn't explain it. He just.
I can picture it, but it's tough to put it in words.
Exactly, it's.
What'd the group say? Did they notice anything weird?
Yeah, they were kind of a little freaked out about it, because they knew he was ahead of them on the trail.
Oh, so he wasn't inside of them when he went down?
Yeah, no, he wasn't. So he started going down the trail ahead of everyone, and everyone knew that. And then, just kind of a snap of a finger, he said he was behind the group and up the trailhead, up further, and he said he was really kind of shook about
Messed
it.
up?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where my thought of portals or something like that.
Oh, they're real.
Along those lines.
They're real.
Yeah.
This elder in Squamish, she says she knows there's portals up in the Squamish Valley.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, I don't know. Whatever. Don't discount it.
Yeah.
It's like people don't listen to people when they can't handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be like if I couldn't handle what you're just saying, I'd be like, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Do you know that guy that disappeared on the trail and came back?
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine.
He's not sick or anything, nothing wrong with him?
No, he's because we took a trip to the city one night. Actually, it was just a spontaneous trip, and we put your YouTube channel on. I listen to it all the time when we're traveling.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "What is this?" And he was kind of getting curious, and I was like, "Oh, this is Steve."
It's a psycho on YouTube.
And he's like, "Oh, I kind of have a strange story." And then he told me, and my eyes got wide, and I was all ears after that. And I'm like, "Tell me in full detail." And that's what it was. And he told me himself that he felt like he may have slipped through some sort of portal.
That was this guy?
Yeah, that was this guy, just back here.
There's some creepy shit going up there, man.
There is.
Everybody knows it too.
Mm-hmm.
There's at Owl Ridge, my buddy's neighbor. He had a mountain goat show up in the yard at Owl Ridge.
And it was shook. Yeah, it was all
In
shaking.
the yard.
Yeah.
And it stood there in the front yard and stayed there for half the day. And he said something big and dark was just inside the timber in the backyard, wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
But how did that thing not catch the goat before it got to the house? You imagine a goat running. You've been up there. I've been up there. I used to trap wolves in there too. I went up the Yellow Gate Road from Owl Ridge.
Oh yeah, that first gate right there on the left. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go up in there, and then I found out I wasn't allowed from the conservation. He says, "There's no wolf season over here." I'm like, "There's not." That was that Walker's, Walker dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Guess that's his woodlot or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. But he said I could go in there. I'm like, okay, here I go. But anyway, you know how much terrain is in there between there and the cliffs?
Yep.
How the hell did that thing not catch the goat from there down to the house?
Right.
Isn't that weird? Like, that's really weird. Like, that's really weird. Especially, imagine though if it did come out and grab that sucker off the guy's lawn in front of him.
He probably would have been quite shaken up after that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of cars saw one go across a Duffy with a goat under its arm years back.
Just picked it up, carried it.
Already had it.
Yeah.
Rip it across
On
the
the
road.
Duffy? Oh yeah, that's the other. That reminds me now. I didn't email you this, but I messaged you.
Oh, the rocks getting from the cars
yeah,
and shit.
They just pulled up at the pullout there right at the lake where where the tourists like to take pictures of Duffy Lake. Right there. They said it was in the middle of the night, and they were traveling from Lillooet coming home to Mount Currie, and they were stopping for a pee break. And yeah, they said that they had a huge rock tossed at their car, right, and it hit the car, dented it.
No.
And then they said they heard an absolute loud scream, and then they seen something tall and big run across.
Oh, they saw it too, eh? I saw tracks on the other side of Duffy Lake in the winter one time, going in the snow on the ice all the way along.
Yeah.
There's no, I could see them from the top of the hill. You know, when you go past the boat pull out there and you keep look up those points, out of the binoculars, there's nothing else could have been there. Like that, straight line, 6-7 feet apart. I'm like, oh, there goes the Sasquatch. Yeah, ripping up the side of the lake. Who else? I know a kid, and I don't know, probably shouldn't even, it's tough to bullshit with somebody when the camera's going, because you want to say somebody's name, and I know you know him.
Yeah.
Anyway, kid you grew up with, guaranteed. And him and his grandpa were fishing at this end of Duffy in a aluminum boat, so you wouldn't get up out of the grass and back them out of there and walk away. It's endless. It's endless around here.
Yeah.
But there is, do you know the elder lady here who has a recording of one? Have you heard of her?
To be honest, there's many stories around here. You can ask anyone, not just in our community, but in neighboring communities. They have weird experiences and hearing weird things out in the bush while hunting or hiking.
Well, she recorded one behind her house right here.
Oh, yeah?
Screaming, yeah.
No, I haven't heard of that one, actually.
Yeah, Dave Gilmore, the farrier, he told me about her, and he heard it. He heard the recording, and she's got footprint cast, too. She lives here somewhere.
Oh.
About a few people, you know Harley?
Harley? Yeah, Harley Lapine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's messaged me a few times. He was floating down the creek with his cousin or uncle, floating down Birkenhead, and they see one right behind the Continental Pole Yard there.
Oh, yeah.
It says, got out, stepped in the river, looked at him, and stepped back.
Interesting.
Where does he live?
I think he lives up in this community.
Does he?
Yeah.
Shit, I should have messaged him. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? I think he's messaged me a couple times. Hold on. Gotta see if this thing's recording still. It's good, it's good. Yeah. That store wasn't built when I was here last either. There used to be a little store on the other side of the road.
Yeah, right where the big dirt pile is over there.
Yeah. And the bears would always be in there getting the French oil and shit.
Yeah.
And then, you know Dilbert?
Dilbert, yep.
Where is that funny bastard?
He lives up in this community as well. Yeah. He just lives across town.
Oh, he does, eh?
Yeah.
Still around, good.
Yeah.
He used to work at the beer store forever.
Yep. He doesn't work there anymore.
No. But he said he had one walking behind him, walking up the road down here.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, you know, Dilbert was like, I just said out loud, I don't need this shit. Leave me alone. I worked too hard today. Because, you know, he's hitchhiking home late at night, walking all the way up there in the dark. And he's like, I don't need this shit. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And just kept on walking. What else have I heard about here? Well, one time I went to that dump another time at Last Light. I don't know why. Well, no, that was back when I was looking for them intentionally. I quit guiding and I started looking for them intentionally. I had the shit scared out of me at about 22K up towards Meager. There's an old cabin on the left side of the river.
Oh, yeah. Just tucked in, there's a gate. That's kind of right.
Yeah, you been in there?
Yeah.
And if you hike down a little bit, there's some open meadows down in there too.
Yeah.
I was down in that meadow. Yeah. And that's where that thing was blasting on the side of that tree right there in the hardwoods.
Oh, yeah.
Or not the hardwoods, what are those soft freaking trees again?
Cottonwood. Cottonwood, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, and I heard a scream down there. And then, but there was that, when that went down, and I had my camera and a tripod, I had my rifle laying in the grass down there in the meadow, just hanging out, and that's when I'm like, I mean, it scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah.
I took it as a full-on, right? And I'm like, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm good. And I didn't look intentionally again. But around then was when I'd go up and hit this road. And I didn't have anybody tell me they were there. You know it. You know it. You could feel it.
Yeah.
And I went up there and I sat at the dump for a bit, just standing there hanging out, seeing if something's going to happen. Then I started walking down the road a bit, and then all of a sudden something went crashing in the timber.
Yeah.
Off that hill right there.
Yeah.
Coming this way. I don't know what it was, but it was loud. And then I know a couple other kids. The last time I was living here, I was living in Mount Currie, just before the dog hotel place.
The dog hotel.
The place on the right where the dogs go, and what's it called? You know, before the industrial site.
Oh.
You know, you're going into Pemberton.
Okay.
Right hand side is that doggy daycare thing.
Oh, okay, where all the huskies are is like okay. Yeah.
I was living out back and behind there. My buddy's place is just before that.
Oh, okay.
And then the neighborhood kids that live right there, they're always playing soccer. We're always playing soccer and shit.
Yeah.
And those kids were at that house at the mouth of the river on the lake, playing soccer with their buddies. And they said there's like a big dirty man sitting down on, in the timber against a tree watching us. I
Yeah.
go, what do you mean a dirty man?
Yeah.
Well, it just seemed like a big dirty man, and then we were looking at him, and he got up and walked away, but it was like he was really hairy.
Yeah.
These kids were that big.
Yeah.
And they told me that one, right? Do you know who lives in that place down there?
No, I don't,
Oh, yeah.
honestly.
What about when you go down the road here, and that driveway goes to the right before the bridge right here? They go down to that cattle ranch and shit?
Yeah, that's actually, so when I messaged you that one time, and I told you about my friend's experience over here, and then you mentioned that, oh, maybe the guy that lives just on the other side of the bridge, on the other side of the river, and I mentioned that my dad's property is just on the other side of the river across
No way.
that guy. So I know the guy that lives there very well.
You should ask him.
Um,
Because everybody's seen him cross at the bridge.
oh yeah, and
So if they're crossing the bridge, they got to be going through his place.
yeah, and there's trails all over. Like, so there's a big lookout just at the bottom of the stretch here.
Oh, yeah.
You drive and you can actually come out at Owl Ridge as well, but you can quad right down to the
What?
river.
No shit.
Yeah, right. So all back road, you can quad right down to the river. So basically, like, so where the Continental pole yard is there, the trail basically comes out behind there. So the the suspension bridge
Yeah.
in Mount Curry.
Yeah.
The trail comes right down there, and there's trails that go right
No
down
shit.
to the river.
I didn't know that. And you can quad it.
Yeah, you can quad
All
it
the way to here.
Yeah, and you can. I call it the loop, and you can go
That'd be a loop.
Owl Ridge and come out the front side, and then come out over here. at
Right.
the
So you know
bottom of
those
the hill.
logging cuts at that end?
Yep.
You ever hunting there?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's deer in there.
I get on the quad and I go for a little cruise with Patty, and we see deer.
Yeah, there's deer in there.
Yeah.
There used to be a pile of them across from the Birkenhead to the, what's the highway? What's that road called? This paved road? Well, you know the big gravel pit up there.
Yeah. That's I think that's called Portage Road. I
Yeah, I think
believe.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know that big gravel pit?
Yep.
There was always a bachelor group of monster bucks.
Yeah.
I think they grew down at the river because I'd see them going back and forth, headlights there in the velvet.
Oh yeah.
Probably still, I don't know. And that gravel pit, that is where me and my buddy, we were going to Kamloops to go to the Wild Sheep Society banquet.
Yeah.
And he's from up there at Owl Ridge. No, Pool Creek.
Yeah.
And he's seen one too in Joffrey.
Oh yeah.
In those slashes on the other side of the hill right there.
Mhm.
You bumped into one.
Oh, so on the left side, so when
Yeah.
you get on top of the switchbacks, Joffrey Creek, the big
Yep.
blocks on the left side, yeah.
Yep. And
So that trail, it's called Wild Bill. So you start at the head of the lake and hike right to the top. The trail actually comes out in those blocks right at the top.
does it?
Yeah. So I've actually been dropped off at the bottom and picked up at the top in those blocks, and
I can't believe you haven't ran into one in there.
hiked through all that, and then came on the slashes and hiked out.
Holy.
So
That's a big hike.
it was
It's a big hike, man.
Yeah.
Huh? Lots of deer sign the other way.
Oh yeah.
And you haven't had any spooky moments in there?
I have had a few, especially this one part of when you get close to the creek on that trail. The creek is really loud. Like, the creek is basically like a mini waterfall.
Yeah.
And it's really loud, but the fog really likes to cave in that one spot, and yeah, weird, just feeling like you're being watched and quiet, but not even that. I run a cheap app. It's like 3D maps, just so when you're not in cell service, you can still track where you're hiking. Phone got all wonky in this one area.
No way.
I actually cut off. So there's a red line on the map. It tracks my every step, and then when I get to this area, the line actually stopped. And then when I got past this like creepy zone, and then the red line came back on the map
the
again.
hell?
And it's just that one little area by the creek where it's just always like
How big is it? How wide across do you think?
the creek.
Well, until your red line comes back. How long a distance?
Maybe a couple 100 meters.
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty big.
Yeah, so it's like a section, like I said, just like when you walk through that section, it's kind of like I got to get past this section and get up higher.
Gross.
Yeah.
It's like I was a kid when I was bow hunting that spot, and I go through that pass, man. Every hair on my body stand up, and it just made me, just bugged the shit out of me. every time because I'd have to hike through it
Yeah.
to get to 100, and then I'd have to go back through it. And I just dread going through it every time. And then finally that sucker was like, it was like, he was about here to the metal roof right there.
Yeah.
Same angle. And I just looked up and he's right there looking at me.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's gross. It's just so weird. I mean, imagine if it was another hunter, which there's no way a person's that big anyway, but at first you're a kid. You're not thinking about hairy frickin' anythings.
Yeah.
You look up, obviously you think it's a human hunting, sitting on the trail, like, hey man, any luck?
Yeah.
You imagine if you ran into a guy in the woods, here to there,
Yeah.
you're looking at each other and you speak to him, he doesn't say anything. And then disappears and he's like, holy shit, right? Nobody doesn't say something.
Yeah.
Would that be weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're where are you logging right now?
I haven't logged in a couple of years, so I went a different route. I'm actually in excavating earthworks.
Oh yeah.
So, but I actually got in a hunting accident about 3 years ago. 3 years ago now. I got lost up around Kamloops area.
What?
Yeah, I was out there for a couple days and
No
yeah,
way.
and had to, build shelter and fire. All I had was a lighter, knife, and a full magazine in my rifle.
Well, that's actually not bad.
Yeah.
As long as you get a fire going.
And I hiked my way out. Like basically that last morning, I was like, if I stay here one more night, I'm toast. And I got to get out of here.
Oh, was it cold?
It was cold. It was definitely like.
Sleeping on the ground sucks.
And on the ground.
It
yeah.
sucks. It sucks the life out of you.
It does, and then especially when I woke up that first morning, my jacket peeled off of the frozen ground, but my fire was still going. But that's where I was just starting my apprenticeship for utility arbor work, and I was just getting into climbing trees and stuff, and that happened, and I basically had to take a break from work for a bit.
Right.
And
how do you think you got lost?
To be honest, I got hot on some deer and kept bumping them, and next thing you know, I look up and I'm just like, where am I? Try to backtrack and then just got disoriented and it was cold.
Any snow?
Huh?
Any snow?
No, it wasn't snow. It was actually quite a clear day, but it was the snow was frozen. It wasn't powder snow.
Did it get foggy?
It got foggy.
Doesn't matter who you are.
And you know what?
Fog's your worst enemy.
So when the fog came in, I actually got super I felt dread, and I actually had to sit down. And there was a log just laying on the road, and I actually had to sit down on it. Like I couldn't, because from hiking and hunting all day. But just out of nowhere, I was just drained. Completely drained of energy, and I needed to lay down.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird, eh?
So.
Were you eating anything?
What was that?
Did you have any food?
Yeah, I had a couple granola bars, like protein bars with me.
I usually try to eat something every 2 hours so you don't crash. But that sounds kind of weird though. You get it all sucked out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, just like instantly, and it used to fade out of me, and I had to sit down and take a break.
That sucks.
And then after that, the dark came, and then that's when I didn't panic, but I kind of panicked, but I just knew I needed to build a fire. That was the first thing, was fire.
Good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, panic kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to sleep on the ground a few times. It sucks. The only way you can get away with it, but it takes a long time because you gotta. Well, usually I sleep up north and I get that thick moss on the ground.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to grab a whole pile of that. Mm-hmm. Like it's not, when it's dark and you're by yourself and you're in the timber and you gotta sleep. It's not like you've got an hour to go snooping around looking for the right moss to pile up.
Yeah.
But I found that when you pile that shit up and then lay on it, you can sleep.
It's like a mattress.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
But you watch people putting sticks in the ground and shit. It's like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't do that. I put a video clip a couple times of me sleeping on the ground because that's what was happening. I got dropped off in a bush plane, middle of frickin' nowhere, and the guy was going to come back with my hunter. And he goes, "You want to throw your shit out of the plane on the top of the mountain?" I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
So I threw my sleeping bag and everything and food out the plane, way up the mountain because we were going to get dropped in the lake as a float plane to the bottom of the lake. And then hike up there. I'm like, hell yeah, throw it up the plane. I don't have to carry it up the mountain.
Yeah.
And then you can come back.
Yeah. Oh, really?
No. I'm like, shit. So now I'm at the bottom of the mountain on the side of the lake by myself, basically, and nobody's coming back. I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. I wonder what happened. Did he crash? You know, you don't know anything. Did he crash? Is everybody dead?
Did you eventually find out what happened?
Yeah,
too?
so then, with about an hour of light left, the plane came in and dropped my hunter off.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, oh yeah, something came up, blah, blah. I'm like, well, my sleeping bag and my tent's up on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just sleep on the ground. Right, so like, I started that big-ass fire, because you see the firewood's this piled, I guess, because I got, you know, spruce burns like paper, right?
Yeah.
So I was just getting all the dead spruce branches in the bed of the tree. Made a huge pile, but I went and got all that moss, and I piled up all that moss real thick. And then, because at first I tried to sleep on the ground, there's no way.
Yeah.
You're not falling asleep.
No, it's uncomfortable.
It sucks the frickin' life out of you, man.
Yeah.
From head to toe.
Yeah.
So I laid on the ground and I'm like, this ain't happening, there's no way. And it's probably like 1 in the morning, and I went around and gathered up that moss, and I put it on the ground and got the fire going real good, and then I fell asleep like a baby.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it. And then after that, like you said, you're lost. If you know you're going to be there a while, then you better start making a shelter.
Yeah.
And just wait for somebody to come and get you.
Exactly, and that's what I did. I knew I was lost. Like,
Anybody know you were gone?
yeah, I was hunting with a couple friends. And
Oh, no.
They were out actually looking for me as well. But like I said, when the morning I finally got up, I was like, I need to get out of here. I came out on a FSR. I'm like, yes, I found a road. And I started going down the road, and as I probably got like 2 kilometers down the road, and that's when I bumped into conservation officers.
No way.
Just lucky, just out of nowhere. And they're like, "Are you Kelly?" And I'm like, "I am." And they're like, "Okay." And then he calls the radio, like, "We found your guy."
Lucky. You're like,
Yeah.
you guys got a sandwich?
Actually, they had pepperoni sticks and Gatorade.
There
And
you go.
Drank the Gatorade, the whole thing in one go on the spot, and they had pepperoni sticks and snacked on that. But I had to go spend the night in the Kamloops hospital after that because,
Dehydrated.
yeah, they actually had to cut the boot off of my left foot because I was like basically getting frostbite in my toes.
No.
Yeah, so when they cut the boot off because it was so swollen, the paramedic kind of got a funny look on his face, and I'm like, no, don't give me that look. What's going on? He says, like, your toes don't look good, partner. Like,
So did you get him lopped off?
Nope, they're all still there.
Lucky.
But I had to go through. I had to do exercises. The doctor told me to do exercises with my toes.
Holy shit, does that hurt, eh?
And
You get that pain in your toes?
when it gets cold in the winter, I still get that weird tingly feeling in my toes, but my balance is off now.
Oh, you really got it bad.
Yeah, my balance is like, I'm still a good balance. It's just sometimes I'll just be like, I'll kind of have a stagger sometime, and it's just my. That was about 3 years ago, 3 winters
Oh,
ago
that
now.
sucks. I remember I got frostbite too years ago up north, Jura, and I was standing behind a round bale, -30.
Yeah.
And I wore these stupid boots, no
Yeah.
insulation.
Mhm.
The pain in those toes, and they were starting to go black.
Yeah.
And then all the skin fell off, you know?
Yeah.
The pain in those toes, just dragging the bed sheet over top of them,
Mhm.
almost made you frickin' cry.
Oh, for sure.
Holy shit, that frostbite hurts.
I was sleeping so close to my fire that I got like real bad smoke, like in my lungs,
No shit.
like inhaled quite a bit of it, and I was like coughing up black gluties for weeks after that.
No.
And ember shot out of the fire and hit me right in the eyeball.
Of course it did.
Right in the eyeball.
Right.
So that morning I couldn't even open my eye. So I was one-eyed. Basically, my feet didn't work, and I shot all my ammo in the magazine for trying to get someone to find me.
Every 3 shots.
Yep, all 3. I wanted to save one just in case. Like, I don't know if there's wolves hanging out up here or anything, but I need at least 1 bullet. But I ended up shooting it.
Really?
Yeah, and
That's a tough decision.
so.
Okay, when you get your last round, that's a tough one.
Mhm.
Damn. Did it snow that night or anything?
Nope.
Lucky.
It was a pretty clear night. It was just cold. Cold and lonely and dark.
Life sucks.
Yeah.
You think, what did I do? What did I do? Let me see if the thing's working. Oh, thank